Alrighty, we've got our basic project going. Now what we need to do is add an actual window. To begin with, let's go into our project.cs file and let's get rid of that line that prints out hello grid world. We're done with it. Now we're going to create a variable of type grid window and we'll call it GW new grid window. And we're going to run its actual Avalonia window. Now you can see already Visual Studio Code is complaining at us. If we float our cursor over the grid window type where we create this variable, it says the type or namespace name grid window could not be found. Are you missing a using directive or an assembly reference? Well, actually, we're not missing either of those things. We just haven't made the grid window class yet. We're going to make that from scratch, and that's going to let us create grid window objects, and one of the things it'll have is a window that we can actually display on the screen. So let's go open the Explorer, create a new file, and we'll call this one grid window.cs. Public class grid window. And then, of course, curly brackets. I always like my curly brackets to open and close at the same column on lines by themselves. You'll see people do it other ways. Whatever way you do it, just do it that way all the time. Be consistent in the way you format your code. All right, we're going to need a public variable of type window called win. Notice that Visual Studio Code realizes that the window type we're interested in is in the Avalonia.controls namespace. So it added a using for that namespace automatically. You don't remember what a namespace is, come and ask me. We'll talk about it some more. Now we're going to create a public constructor that lets us create grid windows. To begin with, we'll create the window. We'll also give it a few initial properties. We want to tell it that its width is equal to 9 of those goats, because we need 4 in each set of goats, each little herd, and the space so they can hop over each other. Well, I know that goat picture is 100 pixels wide, so the width of my window has to be 900 pixels. That's not a very elegant way to deal with numbers and sizes. We can find out at runtime how big things are, but for now, we'll just go with the fact that we already know. They're also 100 pixels high. Let's give it a title. I have to put a semicolon after that last curly bracket. And that should be enough to at least display our window. Let's find out. First of all, just to double check, let's look at our project file. Notice those complaints, those squiggly red lines have gone away. Let's find out if this will run. Pressing F5. Okay, looks pretty good. And you can trust me, that's 900 pixels wide by 100 pixels high. Now you notice right away, by the way, that it pops up in the upper left. In fact, your operating system will pick where it goes. Most of the time, we'd kind of like it to be in the middle. There's a way we can force that to happen. So let's learn to do that now, because otherwise it'll be annoying that we always have to move these things around. In addition to the other 3 initial properties we've defined, width, height, and title, we can also give a Windows startup location. And we will pick Windows Startup Location .center screen. Now be careful you don't accidentally pick center owner. If you do, your code will still compile, but you'll get a strange error at runtime and it won't actually work. So say Windows Startup Location .center screen, and always follow each of your property assignments when you create an Avalonia object with a comma, even the last one. Okay, one more time, F5. Looking good, right in the middle. Okay, we got our window up. That finishes this step.